Welcome. I'm glad that you could join me on the first of hopefully many sketches to come, where I'm going to teach you how to do some things, some quick lessons on art and sketching. And I thought it'd be a lot of fun on my very first one to do something that I was watching again, The Mandalorian recently. I came across Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars, a great character, in the live action on The Mandalorian. And so I want to teach you how to draw that. So all we're going to need for this lesson is a pencil. I just use a number 2, simple HB number 2 pencil, a little bit of an eraser on the end, even though I won't be using that much. And a nice piece of paper. I use 8.5 by 11. And let's sketch together. So we're just going to draw the face of this character, and Ahsoka Tano, and great name to say, by the way. And again, we're gonna keep it pretty simple. In the middle of your paper, kind of in the middle, go above it a little bit. We're just going to start out by sketching a circle. And it's important to know when you draw circles, even in sketching. Draw lightly, by the way. It's the thing I always tell people to do, draw lightly. But just put a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just above there. And then, we've done this before, but we're going to be making a face. I'm just going to come down and imagine, if you will, you're making an ice cream cone. Okay? Or I always say when you get this done, it kind of looks like a cylinder looking down on from above. If you're looking at your sink, there's a cup sitting down in the sink, right? And there you go, right there. So basically, you've just designed a circle, a lower part oval, connecting those lines together. And then right down the middle, just go ahead and drop a line right down the center. And you can see what's happened here. It's pretty simple. We've just created the face or the head of that shot. And I'm actually going to go a little bit below here and go down. I'm just going to sketch in a few lines here indicating a neck at some point, but we're not going to worry about that too much right now. Once you've got that done, now that we have this laid out, we're going to start going in and working on the structure of this character. And the reason I love this character starting out, I'm glad I'm doing this one, my first one on Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. And thank you for coming on to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. In fact, if you're watching this right now, you can support me by giving me a tip over there in the tip jar or below. I would appreciate that. I'm just starting this off, and that'd be a fun way to teach lessons, and as we get to know each other, and I'll teach you all sorts of cool things about different characters to draw. We're starting out a little simple on this one, just a headshot. But once you have that in place, you're going to go down to this line you place right here, and we're going to put a nose in there. And people say, which of the characters? I'm going to do it off of The Mandalorian, since I recently watched that. Great series, by the way. Watch this second season again, and man, just fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go a little wider on her nose, since I'm doing the character from the TV show, not the animated series Clone Wars, but from the actual show. So we'll go there. I forget the name of the actress who plays. She was also in Daredevil. She was really great. So we're going to drop the nose in there. Just go ahead and place that in there lightly. We'll kind of bring that up. And then I'm going to go about between halfway again. I'm going to come down. I'm going to drop a band kind of right in here. And what I'm doing right now is just figuring out where I'm going to place her eyes. And the thing about her eyes that I like about this character's eyes, it has almost an Egyptian quality to it. And both, you'll see the war paint that she has on her face, and I don't know what that's, I guess say the structure of that. And so nice footballs right in the middle between those two lines. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a pupil fairly large right in the center there. And boom, boom. So there we go. We've laid that in. Now we're going to go ahead and put her mouth in. And again, very full lips on this character from the show. Kind of like waves, if you will, that go up and down. There's a wave. Always keep your pencil sharp. Have a handy dandy sharpener nearby, either handheld sharpener, or if you're lazy like me and you have the electric sharpener, a little faster. Okay. A little bit of a smile, I guess, right here. Okay. And then I'm going to raise the chin right about to there. I'm going to come back to that just so I know where my lines are at. Now I'm going to put some eyelashes on this character. Again, pretty pronounced, dark, full eyelashes. Eyeliner, strong. And then moving into her eyebrows, you'll see in a second how we do this with the insignias, the tattoos on her face. But I'm just going to lay that around like such. Okay. Now, as I move through the face, I'm going to narrow it some with her cheekbones. This character has a thinner face. She gets older, not a child anymore. Yeah, and the character in The Mandalorian, she is a grown-up adult, I believe, on the television series or the Clone Wars animated version. She was, we're going to start at the beginning of her headdress on top there. Now that we kind of laid that out, actually I'm going to go back over and correct something. You can do this when you got it drawn lightly, which is nice. We're actually going to lower that nose just a little bit. We're going to go down, which you can do. Okay, like such. Oh yeah, there we go. That's better. Much more in line with an adult Ahsoka Tano. Okay. All right, we'll go with the neckline like such. Okay, so we've got the general face in there that I like. I can come back to eyes. Great. Now, let's work on the headdress. You can tell what I've done is I laid this top of the ice cream cone. There's a little bit of a diamond on top, hooks around on both sides like so, and then just kind of comes down and connects with the top of this cheekbone line. Okay, and we'll kind of come around like so. And then to fill out the diamond, let's just drop a diamond in here, which is a series of a couple triangles side by side. And then vice versa, she has a triangle here and a triangle there. So keep it nice and simple. Nice and simple. I love the headdress. You know, right? We all know the headdress. It's kind of famous. It kind of goes up to a point. Again, more triangles like so. We're going to wrap this around and come down quite a ways. And then again, it hooks down like such. I don't know if I never really watched enough to know in the Clone Wars if this character had an origin. I need to look into that. And this one again comes down as well and hooks through here. So there we got the basic look of that. Now let's put on some of the designs on her forehead and her face. Let's start with the cheekbones. The cheekbones, again, when I sharpen my pencil, so they're really sharp for these because there's fine line. It starts underneath her eyes and hooks around on the higher part of her cheekbone, and then kind of wraps down around by her mouth, comes up, and it's like an F. Think of an F. And then we're going to do the back of that, so backward F, but we're going to go back the opposite direction again where her cheekbone is. We're going to go up, down, and across. It's like little lightning bolts or something coming in there. If you really look at it, we're going to narrow this again a little bit here and round it and soften it just a little bit, like so. Got it? And then, this will be fun. We're going to come down with two lines right here. We're going to go out with a triangle. Take your time on this one. You want to get the right proportions. And come down to the bridge, the top of that bridge of her forehead is coming down to the nose bridge. And likewise, you're going to go here. And then you're going to hook it up. And remember, the curvature of the eyes in the head. Don't forget those valleys and those little crevices and nooks that are going on. When you look at a face straight on, don't forget the nose juts out. There's balance to all things, right? All right, we're going to go across. And now we're just going to lay it right above there, really gentle like. And this is just going to come down to a point here. And then it goes up. And then it's going to go wrap right up here, nice and tight. A little wider on this open part. Right here, and then it goes down. Then we're going to come right down and copy mirror it as it kind of winds its way back down, okay? And again, this is going to kind of hook around the eyes like so. Come back up. You're just going to come right down, back up, and into there. So you've got the tattoo markings here. Now we're not quite done. Right in this section right here, it kind of wraps around. You've got a couple more insignias, diamonds that have come across this part here. So there we go. Now we're gonna have to lay in kind of the stripes that go across the high part of her headdress, okay? So to do that, let me just, this is gonna be leather, so we're just gonna kind of give it like so. And then we're just gonna kind of wrap it around in some different spots here, almost like a zebra printing in a sense. It doesn't have to be very uniform looking. Just remember you have to follow the curvature, okay? So when you come around something, it comes back down, right? And wraps here, down here, and then it ends up being shaded at the bottom here. Let's work our way back up from here. We'll make this dark down here. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of wrap it around so it kind of goes such like so. Keep it kind of together with the one across the way, but not necessarily. It doesn't have to. Let's wrap it up like it's wrapping around and around the back end. Okay, so when you do this, you just kind of have to kind of roll your line across. It doesn't have to be exact, because when you ink it, which we're going to hopefully get to in a second, I think we will today. Sometimes we just do pencil sketches. I want to do that as well. But since this is the first one, I'm buying me a cup of coffee. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do the whole thing, and we'll just take a little more time and lay it across like so. Okay? Wonderful. And then when it comes down here, she has a high collar, so we'll lay that up in here. And that's darkened underneath with a shadow from her chin. And actually, we'll just lay this across here. And then we'll go right there. So if you saw the Mandalorian, her costume was pretty close to what was in the Clone Wars. Remember, that was a cartoon version. Actually, and if you come across, if we had put her shoulders, we'll just drop a shoulder in here as well. Okay, so we know the neck comes across, like so. And I think we'll just drop it like this, so you know that there's, okay. We'll come back. Okay. I think we've got the general workings to kind of lay it in now and have some fun with inking. And we're going to keep it really simple on the inking. I'm not going to go into, I could take a lot of time with the inking. And I love to ink, but I don't want to spend an hour just inking. That might get a little tedious for you, but I'll just start it with something quite simple. And I'm going to have to buy a few more of these when we do more of these lessons. A couple pens that I use. And you can use what you want. There's a lot of different ones, but we're going to keep it always simple on this page. Buy me a cup of coffee. I want to teach you a simple process. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be an artist. As you notice, I'm doing this freehand, not with a digital. And you might do it digital, and you could certainly do it on a tablet. That's great as well. Here's what I will tell you right now. Here are 3 pens that I use all the time. I just use a very simple Papermate Flare Bic medium pen. I use something by the way, you get all these at Walgreens and things like that, but I get these at Office Depot. I get a permanent, this is like an Office Depot True Red fine point pen, all right, a little more of the detail, and then I'll use them occasionally, just a Sharpie, okay? So you don't spend a lot of money, you might buy a box of each, and they become what I use. Okay, so let's just ink it in here. I want to show you something real quick as we ink. I usually start in the nose and work my way out because that's the furthest part out. I always try to think of what is the furthest thing out on the page and then work my way backwards, okay? So I'm going to roll this like so, and then I'm going to come across like this, and then we're going to get nice full lips on this character as an adult. Okay. Ahsoka Tano. I want to say that right. Am I messing that up? I hope I'm not. Sorry. But I'm going to go the chin line, round that off like to make it a little less pronounced. Maybe I had a little bit too sharp. By the way, when you're inking, this is the time where you can go in and make some adjustments. I always do. And if you have a tablet, you certainly can do that anytime as well. Now, the eyes, you can see how I'm taking my time here. I want to do the eyes really well because this character's eyes are so powerful. You know, you got to get it done smooth. You got to get in there and make it really striking. I can look at this and I say, boy, this character's eyes just go right through you, right? It's strong. So I want to make sure the eyes are very strong. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put a underneath, maybe a little indication up here. Okay, and again, because of the nature of how they did the work with the facial design, you don't need to go strong with the eyebrows on this character. I'm just going to put a little indentation here on the nose to show that it's coming down to a bridge. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay in the first tattoo because it's going to help me determine cheekbones. So I'm going to come around like so, and that goes up there. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm trying to mirror. One thing I found when I do things like this, where you have to do tattoos or faces, or if I'm drawing superheroes or whatever, and I try to mirror things when they're mirrored. In other words, do it at the same time. It'll really help you keep the balance, okay? All right, now I'm going to go up here. We're going to drop in the top face, and we're going to wrap it around like so. Hook it like here. Take your time. Nice, even, steady hand. Don't go too slow. If you go too slow, that's when you're going to get the wobble lines and the things of that nature. Whenever you're using a pen, it's just a matter of getting a feel for your style. And of course, I've been doing this a lot of years, so you know, but you got to find the pens that work for you. Okay, that's just what I always tell people. Don't just go with what I say. You got to experiment. And let's go up and let's mirror again. It wraps around and comes down. Now it's going to have a few different indentations if the eyebrows, let's say, was raised. Okay, so we're going to come all the way down, up, and through. So we got that in there, kind of nice. We'll go up here, finish off the sides of her nose and nostrils right above there. And as you can tell, there's a little shadow under the nose, but I'm not going to touch that right now because I'll show you before we're done what do you do with that on a different type of pen. But I'm just going to put that neckline in. Go ahead and wrap now. We're going to wrap that headdress all the way around. And then it comes out like so, goes up, it's leather, so it bends, kind of curves around. In fact, I might just drop in a couple lines here and here just to give that indication that it's wrapping around something. It's not just flat. Okay, it's important that you give that indication by lines. We'll probably talk about that another day, about how do you give something that has a flat surface and drawing a line to give it texture to wrap it around something, okay? All right, and then we'll go ahead and do the headdress. And I'm just going to keep this really loose and tight. As I kind of, what I mean by that is loose in the sense I'm going quickly, but tight around the edges. Boom, like that. Coming back down around. Indication, boom. Comes like so. And then again, we're going to wrap a little curve here, coming down where her chest is at. We'll go up this way like so. And I'm just going to drop in a little indication here that some shadow there, where her neckline is at. And we'll kind of come here. I'm going to smooth this out because it's just, boom. There we go. How's that looking? Pretty good. Now, we'll just go ahead and put in a couple indicator lines now, so when it comes to shading, I'll know where to go with that. Moving pretty quickly as well, wrapping it around, remember, because it's curved. It's not flat. Notice a lot of times when I work with students at school, they have a tendency to do things flat, and that's just learning. I used to too. Everything is kind of a flat nature to it. And then you start realizing the world is not flat, that there's degrees of curvature and volume and depth. And you have to kind of build that into your drawings if you're out there watching. And again, thank you for watching this. This is my first one I'm doing on Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. I'm just kind of, I've been doing this for years. You go to my Facebook page and see all the drawings I've done, probably hundreds, if not thousands of drawings. And just decided that I'm going to go back to my supporters and people have been so good to me and ask maybe if they want to tip me as they learn some of my art, something I'd like to move toward as I get a little older, and giving away some of my secrets. Now, you can tell when I got this done that the pencil lines are still there. I haven't begun to erase those. I just won't yet. And I'll tell you why, because I'm going to get a much more finer pen right now. And there's different things you could do. In fact, you know what? Actually, we're going to do something a little different on this one. We could get a very fine pen and go in and do some things, or else we could use something like this. Okay, these are Coptic markers, and I just got these nibs markers I think at Hobby Lobby, they're a little cheaper, but they work just fine when you want to do shading. And this is a gray tone. Now you spend a little bit more money on these, okay? Now I'm going to erase this very carefully with my white kneaded eraser. Now, the reason I say carefully is when you do use a Bic flare, like I often use on drawings when I'm doing these kind of drawings, I love the way it feels. I just am very comfortable with it. You have to be careful when you erase because you got to let that ink dry. It's not like Indian ink, okay, which is when it dries, it's not going anywhere. But this is a little more sensitive. They don't use a heavy ink, like a heavy Indian ink when they do that. Sorry for the wobble. My desk here, I'm taping. But you get the picture, and I'm just going to carefully brush that off, all right? And you can kind of see here now, that's the look. Now, I'm going to go in and just do a little bit of shading now. This is where it's fun, and I've got some different colors. Let me give you an example of some of these colors. Okay, that's this gray. Let me do a little wider one. That's that gray. And then this gray is probably a little bit more of a blue gray, I bet. It is. Let's play with this one first. They're both great colors that do shading, okay? So I'm going to do a little shading right now. So, okay, here we go. So let's go with, actually, I wonder if I have a lighter gray just before we do this. Sometimes you have to get different tones, right? I like the blue for the headdress, though. That's pretty cool because that actually mimics it quite well. All right, I'm not going to go into a full color here. I'm just going to go with the blue. So let's just try this. Okay, all right. Now, I'm not going to keep it too uniform. What I mean by, you can tell when I'm doing this, I'm just laying it in there, leaving some areas that are white. It kind of leaves a nice texture, and I'm not staying perfectly within the lines because I want this to be an organic looking headdress, not uniform. I want it to just kind of flow, almost like you're painting it. Isn't that nice? You put those little white spots in there. It gives that nice texture to it. Okay, let's just give it a little bit here. I can like Bob Rossi when I talk like that. A little bit of trees here, a little white there. Leave a little room on this one too. Should go up. Give it some white. And there we go. How's that? Ooh, I like that. That turned out pretty good. And then let's go a little bit of a lighter gray, one tone lighter on this. And now we're gonna have some fun with the face. Watch this. So this one we're just gonna go underneath, and I'm just gonna drop a little shadow here, little shadow above the eyes. Hope you can see that okay. I'm gonna do it around the chin, the lips, maybe up here by the forehead. Kind of wrap it around there, and then of course underneath here we'll get some shadow here, and there we go. Gotta finish that line. There's a line, so when you erase it, I didn't see that there. But all right, so then you want me to do too. I'm gonna go up here and just kind of put a little shadow around the outsides of this to give it the sense that, again, it has some volume. We'll talk about that in another Buy Me a Coffee lesson day. Okay, how's that? Ooh, I like that. That turned out okay. Now we're gonna close it out with the stronger gray tone, and this will be fun because using this I'm going to go in and just go to the spots where there's a stronger shadow. Okay, right by the nose, above it a bit, again right above the eyes, and then right under where the indication of an eyebrow would be, but she has the tattoos. Okay, I'm going to go underneath the bottom lip and lay that in, and then go ahead and then gonna get this a little darker under there. Kind of wrap it up into here like so. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I might even just bring it down like so in this area. Again, leaving some white indication of shadows and design. It's always it's ruffled. We have clothing and things of that nature. All right, and I might even go up here now in the headdress and find a light source. Maybe the light source is off on this side over here, so you're going to make it a little darker on one side of her headdress. That's okay, maybe just a little on the sides like so here, and then I might even wrap it around like this. Okay, and the reason I chose that is because I had a darker line on this side. I could have gone any direction, but I saw that. I thought, well, probably just want to go like that. How are we doing? Are we doing okay out there? I hope you're enjoying this. My first video I posted on Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, and I really do appreciate you letting to support what you're learning here as you've got a paper pencil and you're drawing with me this thing. I think I might make these available as I learn more about this website, and I might sell some of these as well, so that way you could have those. And then I'm going to go back in on her skin tone Just going to lay in a little bit of a shadow here. Again, if that's coming in, just a light one there. And then maybe a more on this side coming across right here. Because I think you'd want to have that. Oh, I think that turned out all right. Okay. I'm just going to take a look at this. Is there anything I need to change? I don't know. I'm going to kind of take one more look. Ahsoka Tano. Oh man, that's a mouthful. I wonder who thought of these names. You ever wonder that? I wonder if Lucas has somebody when they just sat around and started thinking of Star Wars names. Because honestly, I'm going to go a little bit of gray on this side on the edge because it needs it on this side. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Kind of lost track of it. I'm just going to drop in a little gray on the side, just a little bit. Because I think that, again, gives it that sense that there's a light source coming in from this direction. Hey, I hope this was fun. I hope you enjoyed drawing with me on this very first one. I want to spell it right. I think it's with an A, right? Yes. And then I think it's Tano, right? So, boy, I'm gonna get hit. There's so many names to remember in the Star Wars universe, right? It's hard to remember. I'll go ahead and always autograph your work when you're done, because that's kind of fun. Well, I always like to put the date too, because I often forget when I do these things. I've done enough of them. All right, I think we just got done with our very first official Buy Me a Cup of Coffee drawing. I hope you enjoyed watching this. You can go back and watch it, and please consider maybe giving me a tip for what you learned today and saw me draw. And then this will be available at some point. I'll try to make that available in my store soon. I'll start putting a store together of the different drawings and prints that we do together. If you'd like to maybe buy one, we can ship it out to you. But again, this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to try doing these every other day or so. Keep coming back to this, and I'll be letting people know through my social media when these different drawing lessons will be going on. All right, man. Appreciate you. Keep drawing. And I always want to close with this. Support the arts. Really care about that. Really make sure that our schools and stuff keep the funding high, because, again, so much of the world is moving into the visual, and it's another language when we can communicate artistically, whatever style that may be, and all through the arts. And so let's be supporters of that. I know it's made a huge difference in my life and the life of many people. So let's continue to be supporters of the arts, this being one of them. All right. All right. Take care. Have a great day, Memorial Day, and welcome to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee with Jason Folkerts and My Art Style.